And I don't think I'm gonna bother to record this because I can always just download the VOD later
Mm,
if it's worth like putting on YouTube or something.
yeah, that makes sense.
IGG Game Center. I'm gonna upload a or sorry, I'm gonna start a sandbox.
Sure. Do you know, does the... I should also open IG Game Center. I was gonna wonder, because I know it has like a bunch of kinds of pieces. Like it has all of the numbered stones. It has chess pieces. It has kind of tiles with like different shadings or something, like 2 by 2 squares or something that are like yeah, different kinds of tiles or something. But I was just wondering, does it have the maybe not the right pieces, but like I guess you could improvise what pieces you need.
Yeah, we can improvise.
Just say this is that piece or whatever.
Mm-hmm. You want to play on a small board first, like a pretty small board?
Yeah, just so like it's. I mean, it doesn't really matter if it's turns out it's unbalanced or something on a small board, just to get the feel of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um. So,
Okay.
did you come up with this one or?
No, I didn't come up with any of these.
Yeah, I was just wondering because I didn't know. I didn't. I know some of them have usernames beside them, but I didn't. I didn't know about this one.
Hmm.
Or at least I recognize some of the usernames beside the other ones, maybe.
Yeah, this is Converger. He's not really a he. As far as I don't know like what he plays.
Mm.
Um, but he is like a regular on the Abstract BGG you know, Abstract forum.
Yeah, I was wondering, was like Converger some kind of um
Part of the game.
yeah, like part, like kind of like a tagline or something there almost. I know it doesn't really fit the pattern, but it's just because of the way the rules have this like
Yeah, makers, breakers.
concentration dispersion stuff. So
Right. And actually, that's coming straight from Realm, and Realm has like
yeah, yeah,
this.
it has those like choices of moves.
Okay, let's see. Let's see. Let's just read through these really quick so I don't forget anything. So the board is a hex grid, and I guess we're going to be playing on a size 4 hex for now. Unless it turns out that like after reading this, it seems like that's just horribly too small. In fact, already it seems like it wouldn't fit 12 towers.
Something something about oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you can adjust the maximum number of towers or something, but
Yeah.
if we had to or something for the size of the board. But no, the thing I was wondering about is the one where it says the towers have to be like spaced 2 apart or something.
Yeah.
Is that what it says?
Yeah, I think what that means is so first arrange all the makers alternatingly around the center space. Makers. So that we can fit. Okay. There are two move types:
Yeah,
concentration, dispersion. To concentrate, move any number of makers and breakers in a straight line such that all moved pieces end the turn adjacent to the same tower. But where are the towers? If there's no towers.
yeah. That's the part that I wasn't sure about.
All right. To disperse, move any number of makers and breakers in straight lines that all begin a turn adjacent to the same tower. Whenever makers or breakers move, it might have an effect. If the last space passed through by a maker is not adjacent to any pieces other than of the other player and is at least 2 spaces from any tower, a tower of the moving player's color is placed in that space. So I guess we can say that yeah. Okay. How about this, dude? Ah, how would we do this?
So the part that I was wondering it was when you look at the two kinds of movement, they always talk about as if you kind of go between towers, because it kind of says like if you do a concentrating move,
Yeah.
You move any number of maker and breakers in straight lines. So I'm kind of imagining you're kind of picking the tower or something, and then it kind of pulls them all in, like kind of
Yeah, so for
magnetically
concentration,
pulls them in.
yeah, exactly. For concentrating moves, you take any number of pieces that could end their move, like next to the same tower, and then you just move them all next to the same tower.
Yeah,
And then for
yeah, like they
dispersion,
kind of
they must
they get
start.
sucked in, and then
Yeah,
yeah,
they
the
get
other ones
sucked
get
in,
pushed away.
or yeah, for dispersion, they should start at the same tower, but then they should get pushed away. So that's what I like about this game, is that it has this kind of weird movement mechanic that I've never really seen before. I mean, other than in Realm, which is the original variant.
Yeah, and actually, I feel like this idea to put it on a hex board is actually kind of cool, but it's just how you get it to work is I suppose what we're trying to read about at the moment, like how to make it kind of work.
Yeah, so I haven't read the whole rule set yet. I mean, I read it before, but maybe it explains it
Mm.
later. If the last space passed through by a maker is adjacent to a tower of that player's color, and there's no breaker already adjacent to the tower, then you can put a breaker adjacent, um, basically adjacent to the tower. Okay. So if a last space passed through by the maker is not adjacent to any piece of the other player and at least two spaces from a tower, then you can create a tower. Otherwise, you can make a breaker if you don't already have a breaker at that tower. If a breaker lands next to a hostile tower, and there's at least one breaker of the other players also next to that tower, and the moving player has more breakers next to that tower than the other player. So you've got majority breakers, but you also need. So this is how you capture their breakers, basically.
Yeah,
But you also capture your own. So you can remove your own breakers. Okay.
yeah. It seemed like Realm had that idea as well with these enforcers, where it's like you can do like an enforcer trade. So like you send an enforcer
Yeah.
over to theirs, and then you both lose an enforcer unless you have like a majority of, was it like powers or something?
Yeah. Yeah. I
That's
guess.
like the only way not to be trading off an enforcer for an enforcer. It's like
Right.
you can actually just take out their enforcer and keep your own. So
Right.
I feel like it has that kind of idea in mind or something, because
Yeah.
it is talking about having a majority in some sense.
Right. If a breaker lands next to a hostile tower, which has no adjacent hostile breakers, and the moving player has more makers next to the tower than the other player. So if you have a breaker plus you have majority makers at an enemy tower, then you remove their tower. And if
Mm,
possible, replace by a friendly tower. But then you also remove your own breaker. Okay?
mm,
So you trade a breaker for a tower in that case, for a tower flip. Supply of towers is limited. Whenever a tower is removed, it may not be rebuilt.
mm.
What? Oh,
Yeah, it's an interesting kind of way that the game seems to end. It seems like that happens in Realm as well, where like it talks about capturing the opponent's tower. So I think it's like you keep their towers, and then when somebody runs out of towers, or
mm-hmm.
nobody can actually build towers anymore, then the
Then you
game
count
ends,
up the
and then you
pieces.
like
Yeah.
count who has the most towers on the board or something.
Yeah. A player's score is the total number of towers. That means that we don't need a particular board size, yeah? Because we can replace, or we can like recycle some. Well,
Wait, I think you want to set the number of towers based on the board size, probably,
but there'll be
because
captures
like
and stuff.
yeah, so you can set it to be more than would fit on the board, but like it'll probably influence how long the game could be.
Yeah, for sure.
If you imagine the idea that terrors can keep getting flipped, say, captured and replaced,
Yeah.
so there'll be some kind of yeah, you might actually like fit more, place more terrors than are actually possible on the board or something.
Mm-hmm. The supply of
But
tower.
it seems to control about when the game ends as well.
Right. Right.
That's that's what you're about to read.
So the total score is the total number of towers plus breakers. And the game ends after the second player's turn when either player has no more towers available to place, and one player has a higher score than the other. Okay, then the player with the higher score wins. So the second player always gets a chance to like swing an even score to their own favor, apparently.
Yeah, or yeah, just or maybe balance like the score or something.
Yeah,
I
that's
wouldn't. So is so what happens if it's an even score? Do you just keep playing on,
yeah,
assuming one player has a
yeah. So if
terrors left?
so if the second player can always even the score, then they can prolong the game. But if the first player could have evened the score, but they're behind, they cannot prolong the game. So I believe that this is like a balancing mechanism.
Yeah, it seems kind of like yeah, like giving someone a second, like an extra, making sure everyone has an equal number of turns, basically.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe we can just say like at the beginning of the game, um, you just move one. You just move one piece, one maker.
And set up a terror or something, or
Yeah, and you set up a tower, and and then you start your kind of thing about collections and whatever.
yeah, it does seem like because I know obviously this idea of setting them up around the center is some kind of a setup, rule for the game, but it doesn't say. Like it just seems like there should be like an extra
A provision
step or something.
for the
Yeah,
first,
just
yeah,
like an extra vision for the first couple of turns because you don't have any terrors that I can see
yeah,
on the board. And concentration and dispersion seems to be all about terrors. So,
yeah.
um,
So what do you think? I mean,
yeah, I'm just wondering. So let's say you do something like that. Or I wonder, like, because maybe you just needed like an additional rule for when, uh, like, so let's say we move like one maker each at the start, right?
yeah,
So we just move them in like a straight line in some direction, place a terror. The only thing that I'm wondering about that is, it feels like you're not going to have any other moves for the other two makers for a while.
really?
Like they're well, like if you think about it, they'd have to somehow be in line with the original terror to get pulled towards it, which they won't be.
Okay, let's check it out. Hang on.
Would be my guess. Um. Maybe you can. Well, yeah, yeah. Maybe we can check it out and see how it works. I'm just wondering if like you don't make a provision for when some of the makers aren't in line, will it just like freeze up the game at the start,
Hmm.
or maybe that's part of the interesting thing to figure out, which is like how the initial placements might
Affect the rest of it, yeah.
yeah, like maybe you have to do a clever initial starting terror to get more pieces into the game quicker or something.
Yeah. Um. All right, shall we
Yeah,
start?
I mean, I don't really mind talking about it as we play. Anyway, I'm not particularly gunning to win or anything.
No, me neither. I'm just trying to see how the game behaves.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, can you press start?
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't even wasn't paying attention. So it's saying to set the makers alternately around the center or something. So it's probably gonna like yours mine sort of thing
Mm-hmm.
around the six. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. The only thing I always wonder about these rules where it says something like two spaces, it's like, what does two spaces actually mean? Do you think it's two spaces within a straight line?
No.
Like 'cause on a hex grid, it's like, is a hex jump two spaces away?
I think night moves are okay.
I don't know what a knight's move is on a hex board.
I mean like a bridge in hex.
Yeah, the hex bridge. Yeah, yeah. So you don't think that's wait? Does that count as two spaces away? Like
Yeah,
just two tiles away?
yeah, I think it's because it's two steps away.
Hmm.
Because it would require 2 steps to get from one to the other. But since it's ambiguous, I think it makes more sense to go for this. Unless, no, unless, dude. Now I'm starting to doubt.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I was gonna just read it a little bit again, so it's kind of it's just because it says, this idea that if you like, because when you move the maker, it will make a terror as long as some conditions met about the spacing.
Yeah.
It's at least 2 spaces from any terror. Moving players, colors, placement space. It's like,
I think that's fine.
yeah, so it's probably trying to stop like terrors being immediately beside each other in some way, or
The problem is that if you like the problem that's here that is not addressed, and it doesn't need to be addressed in realm, is what if your move ends adjacent to multiple towers? I'm just gonna write.
well, maybe that's exactly the idea of what a 2-space gap is supposed to do.
Right.
So that you don't have to address the idea of terrors being like being adjacent to multiple terrors.
Yeah. So, should we just do it anyway and see how it goes?
Well, I was just thinking. So, well, what would be the condition for a piece to end beside terrors? It would probably be, you'd have to be something like a hex bridge, or like a kind of a 1-space jump in a line.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that'd be the. Or is there a way to kind of capture that? You'd be in one of the neighbors of like a hexagon or something. You'd both be on the same kind of hexagon or something. Is that So maybe that's the idea, is that your terror placement shouldn't share a hexagon or something? And then that way you'll never be in the situation where a move can actually be adjacent to 2 terrors.
Okay.
So, do you know what I mean? So, like, for example, like, let's say you have a terror on one of your, I actually don't know what color we're, but let's say you're white or something, and it's on where one of your makers are at the moment. That would rule out the kind of I was just trying to get the visualization of like like a kind of a hex around it or something.
Did you do something?
No.
Okay.
Oh, is it my go?
Yeah, I just thought like you were like maybe making an example or something.
Oh, no, but I could try. I actually don't think I don't think you can like move. Oh, can you move pieces?
No, you can kind of like just you select the piece that you you just select.
Yeah, you take it away and put it somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, I suppose the only thing that you could do differently for the first move is you could have like a dispersion from the center tile or something, but I feel like maybe that seems a bit kind of crazy as a first move advantage or something, to be able to like fire 3 towers or something in one move or something.
Yeah, I also thought that sounded a bit crazy.
Yeah. But no, let's say it's something like, I mean, the first move probably shouldn't matter, right? So, or maybe it does, but let's say I put the maker like 1 move out.
Mm-hmm.
If the last space passed through by a maker is not adjacent to any pieces of the other player, oh, maybe this is going to make a difference.
Oh, weird. The last space passed through by a maker.
Yeah. It's not adjacent to any pieces of the other player, and it's 2 spaces from any terror. So yeah, so you kind of put it behind you or something, I guess.
You must put it behind you. Okay, interesting.
I feel like this looks like a cool thing for a terror, so I'm going to see if you can see this.
It seems like literally only one option for you then, as the first player. Yeah.
Well, that I suppose that depends on whether you have to come directly out of the line of the terror, or the line of the center, or could you go like diagonally, kind of up and down rather than directly outwards or something.
Only if.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry, the last space. Only if you actually want to place a terror immediately. Yeah, yeah.
And you kind of want to place a tower because yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you probably do.
I mean, yeah, because it's required. Like in terms of for you to build for you to create a breaker.
Yeah, you need these terrors or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that I have a kind of an issue with this is where I was kind of wondering, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's my next legal move that's available? You know, if you don't allow, like, let's say the first move was like a free move. It didn't have to be about a terror.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so like it didn't have to be a concentration or a dispersion from a terror. But
Mm-hmm.
now let's say my moves have to be a concentration or dispersion.
Right. No, let's say that they need to be actually.
Yeah, let's just suppose that they do at this point.
Yeah.
What's my actual legal move? Because
You have basically
if I
one legal move.
do I even
Yep. You disperse
yeah, but I like does G4 where does it go when I disperse?
to D1 or to G7. Oh wait.
Oh yeah, they just move in a straight line. You move any number of makers and breakers in straight lines that all begin. Yeah, just adjacent to terror. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. So for some reason, I thought they had to move like away from the terror. I mean, I guess they are moving away from the terror, but it's
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it doesn't have to be like in line with the terror or something.
Right.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
But then you
So that
can't
means I
actually
could.
build any tower, right? Unless we loosen up the tower building restriction.
Yeah, because the thing would be too close.
And then at that point, dude, at that point, um, you just have to concentrate. Oh, but then you make a guy.
Yeah, but can you actually concentrate?
Yeah, you have to concentrate.
Well, yeah, okay, let's just make a move and see. We can just start this again if it goes horribly wrong. But let's just say I just put him somewhere, um, like this, right? And then it doesn't build a tower because it'd be too close. Say this might work better on a slightly bigger board or something. But
Mm-hmm.
let's just so we don't have to worry about being adjacent to two towers at once.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay, so how does the concentrate work from here? So it's like you pick a tower, you move any number of maker and breakers in straight lines such that all of the move pieces. Oh yeah, end the turn. Yeah. So again, I guess that's where I was kind of initially reading it and picturing you're kind of like pulling them in, like
Wait.
in line with in lines from the tower. But it's just like you just have to be able to move and be adjacent to it or something. Is that
Yeah,
it?
but wait, can you actually make a wait, same tower to disperse same tower? So you can actually disperse or concentrate for enemy towers as well.
Oh, I suppose it doesn't say that, does it?
It just says tower. It doesn't say friendly tower.
Hmm. So then if I concentrated on your tower, for instance, I could pull in like two makers or something on your tower.
Mm-hmm.
Is what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean we'll just do that and see what happens. So like if they ended up here or something. And then what happens when you? Oh yeah, I suppose there's this thing where you're supposed to like resolve effects or something when you land, or something. If a breaker lands, we don't have a breaker. Oh, so if the last space passed through by a maker is using zero reverse quarter. Oh, so if you just like leave and pull back, you can get a breaker. That's it.
Yeah.
Whereas if a breaker lands to a hostile terror, if it lands next to a hostile terror which has no adjacent hostile breakers, that's about replacing terrors, removing breakers. Okay, yeah, now I think I kind of get it. So then there's kind of no point yet, I suppose, to just swarm your tower specifically, right?
Probably not.
Like, it wouldn't actually benefit me. Like, it'd be much more beneficial to kind of like go back to the tower, and then I don't know what the breakers should look like. I guess they're supposed, like it said they were supposed to be like stars, so we could just pick something pointy,
Okay.
like
Should I
something
replace?
like this. And
Should we replace the kings with like circles or something?
I don't know, I kind of like the kings for some reason.
Alright.
I mean, I suppose they could be like the castles or something, but
I feel like towers are kind of like
could have been the
castles.
castles.
But
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason I just picked these pins.
yeah,
But yeah, I
I
think
kind of like the
we could
kings
pretty.
too.
So where do you just put the breaker somewhere adjacent to the tower? Is it?
What are you gonna put what is the breaker?
Should I maker? Oh, if the last space passed through by a maker is adjacent to a tower and there's no breaker adjacent to the tower. Okay, yeah, so this is where I actually have to pick the right space. I have to do this thing where it's like you have to have passed through an open space, and then that's where the thing goes. Okay. Definitely didn't pay attention to that wording as I was. But so this should be a move then, right? Like the king, the maker goes back to where it came from, and the last space it passed through is the G5. It's adjacent to a tower, and then you put a breaker there.
Yeah. Oh Jesus, this looks kind of scary.
Yeah, but I have a feeling it's still going to be tough to. Like maybe it'll work better on a bigger board or something, but it'll be. I don't know, maybe just some like force patterns on the small board, but I suppose it could be helpful just to get a feel for it.
Right. I'm not even trying to mirror you. It's just like it's absolutely forced.
What the moves like?
Well, it's like the only way I get it. Yeah, I get a breaker.
Yeah, so just go back and forward. Yeah, but now I'm thinking about like how do you even place a second tower, because you like you were saying, right? You can do this thing where you move away, but like if we move into the opposite corners again, we couldn't place a tower. But then I suppose I could move one of my makers towards your tower, and then maybe I could do like a dispersion or something from that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But fuck, man,
And
now you're just gonna copy me. It'll look like I'm copying you.
yeah, because I got to do it first. But okay, let's just try to just concentrate on your tower. But I don't have to move. I can just move any number, right? Concentrate and dispersion. Yeah, any number makers, breakers, and straight lines. Yeah, and I presume you block each other as well or something, right? Like pieces block each other.
Yeah.
You can't like move through your own tower, or you can't.
I don't
move
know
through
about
your own
that.
pieces or something.
Does it say?
No, it doesn't say. That's why I just kind of imagine. It probably would say if you could or something.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There might be a way to like space out the text or something that I'm looking at to make it easier to find the key points. You know, that kind of way. Like maybe just like bold section headings or something, or concentration. Just so when you want to reference back, it's easier to read or something. Just to read the sections you want.
Okay, well, I mean, I formatted it wrongly, probably.
No, it's fine. Like it's just, but I'm just thinking in terms of presentation for future use or something, just to make it easier to read on the fly.
Yeah, so I concentrated at your tower.
Yeah. Okay. So you went for both of them.
But man, I do think size 4 is like a bit cramped.
Yeah, but might be a little bit too cramped.
Shall we start over with a bigger board size?
Yeah, possibly because it does seem a bit like. Because even now, is there even like a direction I can go that would? There isn't, right? Like even if I go to an edge, it's still too close.
Right, but I can actually I can make one on C2 after my next move.
C2.
Yeah.
So if you move out to the edge,
Yeah.
is that what you're saying?
If you would have moved to C4 with your last move, you had would be able to do this as well.
Yeah. So what I was thinking though of leaving one of the pieces there was that, see when it says if the last space passed through by a maker is not adjacent to any pieces of the other player,
Mm-hmm.
and it's at least two spaces from a tear.
Mm.
So like, because
Oh.
C2 is still adjacent to my piece.
Oh my God.
So that's why I was leaving one of them in the center because I thought maybe it would block some of your terror placements.
You're right.
But I think I still don't have a good see I didn't think to actually come into the center line the way you did. Like you moved into E4 and that seems to have given you better lines or something to move. Like because if I had decided to come into the center, maybe I could have went out to F7 and
Oh yeah,
built
because
a
dude,
terror on E6.
I can play E6.
Yeah, you can go that direction instead and make a terror on E6. Yeah. But you know, I can do something stupid like, or not stupid, but like say this move, I would like disperse and then move the king out to here, and then like nothing happens. But like it just blocks your terror placement.
Does it?
I think so,
Oh damn
because
it.
because you'd want to move to E7, but like you know, the last one you'd pass through would now be E5 or something,
Yeah.
and
Well
too
shit.
close to everything.
Okay.
So yeah, we can try it on a bigger board if you want, because like I feel like it's just going to be this kind of blocking each other and stuff.
Yeah.
At least we might get a couple of towers placed or something with the initial movements.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll just like resign this then. Oh, you already did it.
Mm-hmm. All right, we can try size 6.
Do you want to set it up again? Will I just
Yep.
swap seats with you? Or I suppose I could just pass or something on the first turn.
Sure.
Doesn't make a difference. Game. What was it? Make, break, take. Take two. Make, break, take two.
Right.
Yeah, let's just like pass.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can set it up. No, I do actually really like because I don't, I suppose like what you were saying before, where it's like the maybe the square grid and some stuff like that. Maybe you know like the initial kind of it kind of reminded me of some kind of Sudoku layout or something, like
Yeah.
the 3 by 3 squares and then the placement rules about like not being in rows and columns or something like this.
Yeah.
It was like there's like some Sudoku-esque thing to the realm rules, but
Yeah, which seems like
but
kind of
yeah,
unnecessary.
oh yeah, I don't know if it was necessary or not, but it helped me remember
Oh,
a little bit.
okay. So, yeah,
But
so
like you said though, maybe it does avoid some sort of questions, like you know, what if two terrors are adjacent, or you know, one piece is adjacent to two terrors and all this sort of stuff.
yeah.
But I do feel like this has a nice feel, like trying to extend it to the hex board.
Yeah.
Like it feels kind of cool.
I think it's pretty elegant to have it like this yeah, the setup phase built into the gameplay. And
Hmm.
and it's a simple, like the only thing that's required for things to kind of keep in order is that that the towers don't share any adjacent spaces, and that's like a pretty simple thing for people to remember as well.
Yeah.
I do think it's a bit like um I don't know how I feel about this idea about like if the last space passed through by the moving piece, but also, sometimes this reduction of the branching factor can make it, just a little bit tricky enough. It's like checkers in a way. It's like, it reduces your
Yeah,
options and makes things forced, but then it allows for tactics basically.
yeah. As in, if you don't have like free like almost free placement of a terror, like it might actually mean you have to kind of coordinate things a bit better, or yeah,
Yeah.
it could lead to something interesting.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I guess we'll try it out. So I think I'll play black pieces just because I can look at my name and then I actually know that that's my color. So
Okay.
let's move the king outward, the maker out, and then do you want to go rooks as the terror this time?
Whatever you want to do, man.
I'll try rooks because it looked like it could be interesting.
All right.
So let's do something like this and then see how it develops.
Okay. So you're black, I'm white. All right, check this out, man. I think I'm about to crush you from the first move.
Oh dear.
I'm going to collect actually.
Oh, on my terror.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Oh shit, actually, yeah. Okay, so you could actually like everything on the first. Oh wow.
But you don't have to make it possible because there's ways to avoid allowing a three king collection.
Yeah, it honestly, so I was thinking like, oh, what if I don't go in line? Like, what if I go outward? But then I was thinking, oh, what if it feels like it makes it harder for my pieces to get there as well. But
Mm.
maybe that's better, given that I didn't really picture this happening.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, because now all three kings go in like three separate directions, and they get terrors next turn or something.
That's gonna be my plan. Yeah.
That is very cool. Well, let's just play it out because, I mean, it sounds very cool. So,
Yeah.
um, it's like one of those things that it's going to be a very awful surprise if you do play this. Like like your first game, you're like, oh, that's an awful first move.
Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah,
Like,
it's interesting.
I mean, yeah. We'll see how like because to me this seems like the most efficient way to get a bunch of towers right away, and
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense. So I think I can't, move my pieces towards my terror because everything's in the way. So I have to disperse from the terror. But I think I could probably put like a second terror over here or something, if I understand. Like I move this way, it's at least, two spaces away
mm.
from there's no shared hex with the other tower.
Oh, and actually, doesn't that prevent me from making a tower with my third king?
Hopefully, but it's hard to check all the lines. Yeah, I hope so.
Well, let's just say, hang on. So if I'm just gonna start here. Um,
Yeah, and it does say any pieces of the other player. So I wonder, do you think pieces are probably makers and breakers? Oh, yeah, because there's a separate terror rule. Yeah, yeah. So pieces are makers and breakers, and two spaces from a terror. So
I think I can. Oh man. Oh no, I can do it. I can do it still.
okay.
I can still do it with some tricky positioning, basically. So I had to move one of them first, second, and third.
Oh, yeah, I think I know what you're saying because you weren't doing the I guy in a straight line. You did a
I did H6 to A6, then I did I7 to C1, and then I did H5 to H11.
A6. Oh yeah, so this guy went in a straight line across the board.
They all did.
Oh yeah, the top right guy went downward, and
Yeah.
then the other guy went upward. Oh yeah, that's actually quite cool. Okay, that's interesting.
But I don't know. Does this mean that, I mean, is the well, whatever. I don't think there's a big advantage right now because you can quickly make a you can quickly make more shit pretty soon, right?
Yeah, like I mean, I could catch up in towers if I just like um. Well, maybe I can't immediately, but like in theory, maybe I could get maybe I could make another tower somewhere. But I'm trying to think. I suppose I can get a breaker or something, right? If I just concentrate on my own tower.
Yeah. You can get two breakers probably, right? Or no?
I think it's one per tower or something, right?
Yeah, because then because the second one you need is if it's not already a breaker there.
Yeah.
Look at some water. I'll be right back.
Yeah, cool. I'm just gonna reread a little bit. Yeah, okay, so that's I don't know. Pull this guy into here.
What have you done?
Yeah, I'm gonna just try this breaker placement thing. So like this basically pull the two makers into the tower, and like the first one makes the breaker and the second one doesn't because there's already a breaker there.
All right.
Um,
So
breakers placed in the space.
so
Breaker.
wait. Okay. In terms of what breakers can do, if a breaker
Yeah,
no adjacent
yeah,
breakers.
go for it.
If a breaker lands next to a hostile tower, which has no adjacent breakers, and the moving player has more makers next to the towers are moved. So only. Okay, so you can capture breakers with a majority of breakers, or you trade, and then you can capture towers if you additionally have more makers, basically. Okay.
Yeah, I guess so. I was trying to rationalize that, but I guess like so it kind of makes sense in the name of like makers making towers, breakers breaking the breakers or towers. But then I guess maybe the rationalize in terms of trying to like remember it as well. Like the idea that you need makers there because you're like building the tower as well.
Yeah.
You know that kind of way. Like why do you need to have more makers or something?
Yeah. True.
Um,
Well,
so it's
in
like
Realm, it's called They're called powers, and that makes more
yeah,
sense. Um. Well, I don't know. So I guess if I abandon one of my towers now, and your breaker comes up on it. Oh, but if you fucking use a if you collect with a breaker and a maker on my tower, you'll capture it.
yeah. So like let's say your one of your guys moves away, and then I move both. I move the maker in first, and then the breaker.
Well, actually, doesn't it seem like no matter what I do right now, literally no matter what I do, you can capture one of my towers? Unless it
Probably.
unless I do some kind of
Well,
weird trading.
assuming there's like lines on it, I suppose.
Yeah,
Which I assume so because you actually came from one of these bases to a lot of them.
you have the lines.
Mm.
Ah.
Yeah, that's kind of funny actually. That the kind of like the initial fast start getting extra towers is a
Yeah.
good flip flop with like the first breaker or something.
What the fuck? Okay, hang on. So does
But
that mean that
I do lose the breaker though. That's what it seems like. When I replace the tower.
true.
So like you could actually get a breaker on a separate tower by just going. You know, you could make a new tower. You could get a breaker on a separate tower.
Okay.
Um,
All right, fine. I'll just do something. I'll give myself a breaker. And
The only thing we didn't say at the start was how many towers we were going to play with.
I thought we'll
Are
just
we
go.
doing? We just do just 12 or something? Is it?
Yeah. 3 makers, 6 breakers, and 12 towers. Okay.
Yeah, it says the breakers can be recycled, so I guess that's just more like a max on the board at any one time.
Yeah.
Whereas the towers, I don't know how we're going to keep track of how many towers we've lost. Maybe just in the chat or something.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there's no like put a piece beside the board or something to help keep track.
No.
Yeah, okay, so like you move there, and then if I could I think just for the mechanics of it, I might as well do it. I don't even know if it's a good move. But let's say I'm gonna disperse from the I6 tower. So I move the maker in first, and then that doesn't trigger anything because it's only when the maker lands on my own tower or like an empty space or something, right? Or
Yeah.
I don't think the maker has any anything that happens when you land on the other person's tower.
No.
But then the breaker I think does. So the breaker lands on your tower, and then it triggers the flip thing because there's more.
Yeah.
More of my makers. So I flip the tower, but I lose the breaker. I think.
Yeah.
Is what it seems. There's moved replaced by your friendly tower. Breaker's also removed.
Oh.
So I think you're just like down 1 tower or something, right?
Yeah, but you know what's funny? I realized I didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do. I'm not going to take anything back, but it
Oh,
says.
you could just shuffle around the tower or something, was it? Or?
Yeah, it says disperse. Move any number of makers and breakers in straight lines that all begin the turn adjacent to the same tower. And it doesn't specify that they need to be like away from the tower.
Yeah, so like you could just like shift over 1 space or something.
Apparently.
You're kind of like repositioning around the tower, I suppose.
Yeah. And then I would get a breaker in that case.
Yeah. Oh, actually, do you get a breaker?
Wouldn't I get a breaker? Because it's a maker moving. As long as I'm still adjacent to the tower and there's no other breakers.
Oh, if the last space passed through is not adjacent to any other pieces of the color. Oh, yeah, that's the place one. And if it's adjacent to a tower, there's no breaker already adjacent. Yeah, I mean, the way it's worded, definitely. I was just thinking from the realm perspective, isn't there like a thing about the. Obviously, doesn't not applying here, but it's like, there was something about is it the powers or something have to move to a new realm or something?
Do they? Where?
Just in so it talks about like, so the bases can move, the powers move in spaces in straight or horizontal vertical lines as long as they move into a new realm.
Yeah, in realm that's the case.
Oh yeah, that's what I had that in my mind.
Yeah, me too.
I was like thinking.
Me too.
I was thinking, oh, maybe you have to move towers. Like you can't like just shuffle around the tower.
Yeah, well.
But then realm does have this
rearrange.
Rearrange, yeah. So maybe this is this kind of idea where you don't even need to make that 2 separate things if you just you don't need to make it 2 separate actions if you just do it this way. So yeah, okay, that makes sense. If it's not specified, I think it's probably fine.
Mm-hmm.
Will we play on or will we go
back,
of
course.
Or?
I'm not doing too bad actually. I realized.
Yeah, I mean, like that tower is much more safe with 2 people on it, and then I suppose it's a bigger. Like if you disperse from that tower, it's going to be a bigger. It's going to be like a 2-for-1 to make new towers thing. Or
this was a mistake. I tried to move the queen.
I needed to.
But I forgot to delete it. So next time you make a move, can you just delete the one on c6?
The one on C6, yeah, sure. Okay, so your breaker hits my tower, but you also need, like, either I have a breaker there and then it triggers the removing breakers, or I don't have any makers and then or not, I don't have any makers, but I have less makers than you and then it triggers swapping towers or something. But so that's why nothing happened there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then.
So by the way, you already captured one of mine, right? So I'm one tower down.
Yeah, something like that. So then, and you have 4 on the board, so you're actually like 5 out of 12. I suppose you could write something like that, like 5 out of 12, or does that make sense? Because when somebody hits 12 out of 12, we're gonna have to think about the end game, kind of.
Sure. Yeah.
So whereas I'm like 3 out of 12, because it's just the tree on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. So I wonder what happens if I do what you were saying, right? Like I shuffle around, I place a breaker. It's only if the breaker moves, though, right? That something happens.
Yeah.
Breaker. Oh yeah, if a breaker lands next to us there. Oh, that's kind of nuts, actually. But yeah, let's try this, I guess. I mean, I could try build more towers or something, but let's just try and get the. So I do the disperse, but I get a. Wait, let me go the other way, actually. This way. Get the breaker on this tower, presumably. Like if I do this, does that look like it makes sense? Like I moved like one space down, and then put the breaker in the space I left.
Yeah, I think this is fine.
And I don't think it like triggers anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just thinking. Okay, hang on. More breakers. So the breaker only works with a majority breakers. The breaker trade only worked with majority breakers.
Yeah, and this one it also doesn't seem to be a trade. It seems like you just wipe out all of the like it's not like a 1-for-1. It's like 1 for like all of the rest of them or something.
Oh shit! All the other players' breakers by the tower. But usually.
Yeah. So like let's say you've moved. Let's say it's like 2v2 on a tower. 2 breakers against 2, and you move a third one in.
Yeah.
You lose 1 breaker, but you wipe out 2 or something.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of sounds like, right?
Yeah. And then more makers. But you need them. Okay, perfect. Okay, I think this game is actually really interesting. I think. Like,
Yeah, actually, I think as well, like because it has this, like you can change up the turn order. It could be really, really tactical in the sense of like, let's say like I said, there was two v2 or something breakers on a tower.
Mm-hmm.
So like you have, and then say you launch 1 breaker in, it deletes itself, and then it wipes out the other person's breakers. And then if you could somehow send another breaker in or something, you might or send in a maker and then send in a breaker. You might flip the tower as well as like wiping out the like there could be some big like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much of it you can do in one, like kind of like a chain reaction, but like I don't know how much of it you can actually do in a single turn. Maybe it depends.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more realistic if like a 1v1 breaker like this as opposed to 2v2 because you're using up most of the hex cells. But
Okay.
no, it sounds really cool though. I actually do like the concept of it.
I'm gonna collect. I'm gonna collect like this. I'm gonna collect like this because I don't think you can do really anything. Wait. Wait. you can only look if a breaker lands next to a hostile tower. Hostile tower. So if a breaker lands next to their own tower, then it doesn't trigger anything really.
Yeah, I guess they're just there to defend the tower though, because you have this thing of like you can only capture the tower when there's no other breakers defending it.
Yeah.
You have to land. You have to land beside the tower that has no enemy breakers. So they kind of serve as a defense as well, I suppose. Like either you try to have the majority makers, or you try and have at least a breaker there that will be kind of sacrificed before the tower falls. That's kind of my feel.
But it seems like so this
They're
breaker
kind of
that I have on
offensive and
h6,
defensive.
like what how you never can you can't really kill it, can you?
The H6 one.
Yeah.
So I should be able to if I launch another breaker in there.
But it says if it lands next to a hostile tower.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I understand what you're saying. I can't actually get rid of it.
Which, I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. I guess I can't really decide anything until later.
Yeah, the only thing I'm trying to understand as well is when you make a concentration or a dispersal. I mean, we're reading it as we only move our own pieces,
Yeah.
but it might not have said that. Did
What?
it?
Seriously? Oh.
Well, I feel like that feels natural, but then like I suppose if you just think of it as some kind of like magnetic kind of effect of like pulling and pushing things from the tower, then
Yeah.
maybe it's not as crazy because like you said, oh, you could actually use the other person's tower to push and pull things.
I mean, we're already doing that, right? We're already using the
Yeah,
other
we're
person's tower.
using whatever towers we want.
Yeah.
But then you see the way it says like a player moves any number of makers and breakers in straight lines, just all the move pieces
I know.
in the turn adjacent to the tower.
Yeah, the way it sounds like you could move any pieces, but I just don't think that's what he's talking about.
Well, that would seem to be the only way to get rid of breakers from a friendly tower.
Yeah, true.
Like the opponent's breakers from a friendly tower.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I suppose that would be kind of advantageous, but I don't know if it's tedious or not. Like, would it just lead to kind of more repetitions or something?
Yeah, it seems like one of those things where you end up with like all these pieces like going back and forth all the time.
Yeah, like you concentrate on a terror and then I disperse and then.
Yeah.
But maybe that would trigger like tons of effects though.
That's true.
That would kind of break repetitions, like.
Right. I should definitely ask him about that.
Yeah, like I feel like those little things that to kind of clarify the intent, because maybe they could change the way the game plays or something, or the feel of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, happy to just go whatever you think makes sense. Like we could just have it that you only move your own pieces first, because that seems like it makes sense. But
yeah, can we keep it like that for now?
Yeah, it seems easier to analyze.
Yeah, but I'll write it out.
Hmm. It's also something I can imagine being quite fun when like something like Board Game Arena or something is handling the effects and things for you.
Yeah, seriously.
So you don't have to like you kind of additional help or like reminders or that sort of stuff.
Right. And yeah, if you click on something, it like shows you what are the legal moves and stuff.
Yeah, that kind of stuff would be quite nice. Oh, sorry, is it my go? I see. I was looking at like a previous state.
Oh,
I don't think it up. I don't think it updated for me.
oh
I
okay.
think maybe I had like clicked back and I didn't even realize your move actually happened.
Mm,
Oh yeah, so you kind of concentrate on this central tower.
yeah.
Hmm. This one could be crazy. Um.
Because I realized like if I don't concentrate, then I can't really move many pieces at the same time.
Yeah, it seems like you do have to pull stuff together and then do some sort of combined movement.
I mean, unless you can basically like have all your pieces positioned well such that they can all end up on some enemy tower from different orientations, but it just sounds unlikely.
Yeah, I feel like I shouldn't lose towers, but like for example, I think your D2 one looks somewhat safe because I just can't really get to it.
Right.
Like it doesn't look like I have any good lines on it, so it seems to make sense that that's. But it's kind of same for the other ones at the back. Just the positions of my makers are very questionable at the moment. But I kind of wanted to do something like, wait, I don't have the board. Oh, I'm viewing it. I have to click the stop one. Okay. So what if I do like this king, like disperse from this tower in the bottom right corner, like bump against your king. But I think, does that mean I can put a tower like here behind it because it's two spaces away. But it's not touching anything, touching any other piece. Does this look right?
Let me know. I can't see anything. Okay. Oh, okay. Right. Yeah, I
The only
mean,
thing I was thinking about is that like maybe it's just getting in your way a little bit. It might be bad because maybe you can just absolutely swamp that tower immediately or
I
something.
hope so. Would be awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think I can swamp. I don't think I can immediately swamp it, but I can try some stuff. Ugh. Uh. Huh. Actually, it's not very easy to make new towers.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, that's why I was trying to like throw some in like wherever weird spots that look like it worked.
Yeah, like I can see that there are some places I could get some towers. Hmm. Alright.
Like is G3 or something one?
Yeah, G3 would be one of the last. G3, G2, H3,
A2 or A3 or something. So like one of them up there somewhere.
and F1. This is like one area for towers. Also, you can't really play on A2. Like,
Oh yeah, to get it, you'd have to get on the A line first and pass through it somehow
yeah.
to get the tower there.
But you can't, you need to concentrate. So it's like, okay.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah. No, well, oh yeah. Oh, I think you could like. So let's say you're on like C2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no,
You
because
could
yeah, sorry, you
disperse.
have to concentrate and you have to land on the tower, isn't it?
Right.
Or you have to
If
disperse.
you disperse, but then I don't know how to
Yeah,
disperse past like a corner space.
well, I was gonna say if you're on A5 and then you
Mm.
dispersed from A5 outward and then
Yeah,
landed on like A2 or something.
that could work.
Yeah, but it does seem quite awkward to get there now that you mention it.
Mm.
Like I presumably you did it with D9, right? Somehow
D9.
earlier, like a similar kind of space.
I don't know how I did that. How did I do that? What?
Because yeah, you had a piece on a6,
A6. Oh, okay. Right. Makes sense.
and then you disperse down that line. So it's kind of similar. Like it's like pretty difficult to get into a6 again. It made sense at the start, but maybe you could get to a5 now instead and disperse up along the edge.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. Shit. Oh man. Oh, okay. Hmm. I don't
I should
know.
probably write. I should probably write this as well, just as a little update whenever it happens. 4 out of 12, or yeah, maybe do what you did. 5 out of 12 to 4 out of 12. Just to kind of keep a reminder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, stuff like that. A little tally of like like again like some kind of having the game kind of manually do that sort of stuff for you would be nice. Manually automatically. Or maybe you'd have some kind of, I mean, physical pieces, you'd probably just have them beside the board or something. It'd be easy to keep track.
Okay.
Yeah, so I need to hit the stop button again to see this. So, okay, so that doesn't trigger because we have one maker each, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
So then, well, maybe that's setting up something. Oh, this one, it's mad. Hmm. So let's do something simple again. So if I like concentrate on this lower tower, oh, it doesn't actually work though. Again, this whole idea that you actually have to pass through the space to place the breaker is interesting.
Yeah. It's interesting.
It definitely kind of limits your options a little bit,
Definitely
or
limits.
like you have to, yeah, it kind of makes the positioning a bit more important.
Yeah. Which I mean, to me, that's kind of an upside in terms of how I look at the
Yeah,
design.
I think so as well. Like I think it's kind of adding something. Like you kind of have to make your moves a little bit more.
But
Yeah, like there's going to be upshots and downshots of your moves or something,
yeah.
depending on how they're oriented.
However, I don't know. I would still play test it with like where you can just
Mm,
kind of you can kind of build freely adjacent to your move
yeah.
because that also feels like it empowers the player. Whereas this just limits and who knows like what have you done? So
Oh,
you
that doesn't actually. That's wait. Is that allowed? I think it's allowed.
if a breaker no last space through an is an if the last space is not adjacent. Wait, if it is tower of that player's color, then no breaker already adjacent. Oh yeah, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah. So I was in my mind. I was confusing the placing a new tower rule with the placing the new breaker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter that the breaker's touching somebody.
Yeah.
Should be okay.
No, it's fine. Okay, so um
Yeah, the thing I was kind of worried about is that you might hit this I6 tower.
uh I6.
The one with the maker breaker on the right.
Do you think I can do anything? I mean, you have a maker and a breaker.
Yeah.
I can put a maker there and another maker, and then I can hit a breaker that would trade both my breaker for your breaker, which doesn't sound good. What I can do is I can actually capture one of your towers right now.
Oh yeah, the one on the right. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that.
But if I do that, then you're gonna capture my tower.
Mm. Yeah, there's some kind of terror-based trade sort of thing.
Yeah, which I'm not really interested in doing that shit. Why would I let you do that? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make myself a breaker. Fuck it.
Mm.
Because oh wait, hang on.
My initial move was going to be to try and move to J9 another breaker there, but the problem was like my J6 piece, it can't actually move through a space to place the breaker. It can get to the tower, but it can't actually build something, which is rough.
J where? 6?
Yeah,
J9?
yeah. J6 could get to JA,
Oh, and then it can't really
but
build anything.
yeah, it won't place anything because it has to have passed through the space where you want to place it. So it's like I can get to the tower to defend it, but I can't actually build
Yeah.
the breaker that I want. So it's a bit annoying,
Yeah, I
but
can't
it's
decide
still
whether I
kind of
like
cool.
the restriction or not. Like I like it in principle
Mm.
because of this
I
whole
think yeah, I think I like it because otherwise it might be too easy to defend everything. Like
yeah,
it kind of leaves weaknesses and stuff around your
right.
towers and things.
That's
I kind
yeah.
of like at least in principle I kind of like that idea.
Yeah.
It could make it really dynamic, like in that sense where you said like oh, like we could initiate this big base trade where maybe there's like capture chains or something where like we're like bouncing off each other's towers or something, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not guaranteed that that's like the best idea, but it might be fun. Just for like you might try that in like one of three games or something,
Mm-hmm.
and you just see how it plays out and who has an advantage or um. Okay, so that defends this. You have like three breakers. I have two. I'd like to get the one on the other tower, but I can't really. Um,
D2 is just like so safe for no reason.
yeah, it's just very hard to get to it. Like it's a bit funky. Um, I do have a funny idea though,
Okay.
which is something like what if I go I'm gonna disperse from my I6 tower. So I want to launch the breaker just like across at your king. So it's just gonna hit the king and get stuck there, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um so like it's not gonna do any effect, it's not hitting a tower.
Mm-hmm.
But then the king is gonna get launched upwards. So it's gonna go I think to here. And then I think that does this. And finish the move. Does that
Oh,
look right?
yeah, it looks right and it looks horrible.
Yeah. So it's like potentially threatening to hit the D2 tower.
Actually,
But it opens up my tower, so it's a bit kind of
this like spatial restriction for towers is also kind of annoying. Uh,
I kind of like it though. I find it kind of cool like that like first off that it resolves this question of what happens if you're adjacent to two towers at once.
no, yeah, no, for
That's
sure.
that's convenient, but and then it does limit the it kind of limits the what would you say like the actual like
Strategic goals.
yeah, I was gonna say like kind of the graph or like I don't really like saying topology unless I really mean something, but
Hmm.
like just it does restrict the kind of the structure of the playing field in a sense.
Yeah.
because like the first kind of choices of terrorists have already started to build a network
Yeah.
that could fit there. So it's kind of interesting that way, maybe. But like similar to the way that placements in Oust or something have these kind of weird limitations of you can't be too close to your the other people's pieces and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
But are you saying you're not sure if you like it or not?
no, no. I mean, yeah. Like, I think I like it. Um, just because like it adds a strategic element in that you can really play to try to plan such that you have the towers because there's not enough
Mm,
space for everyone to have the same amount of towers on the board.
yeah.
So, I mean, yeah.
There also was that kind of thing about like pathing or something that was in Realm as well, right? It said something about how you want to try to get the upper edge, like try to get like because what was it? There was like 16 regions, and it was like you want to get 9-7 rather than 8-8 in the opening, and then it'll give you kind of an advantage.
Mhm.
So similar here, maybe you kind of want to kind of set your pieces up in such a way that they'll be able to path and build some early towers or something, or hard to know. Probably you
Uh,
want to do what you did as well, where you just group up on one tower and disperse it in lots of directions.
hang on. I want to. Ooh, don't know. So wait, hang on. If the last space passed through by a maker is adjacent to a tower, and there's no breaker, then you get a breaker. So, okay. If the last place is not adjacent to any other pieces, and at least two spaces. Okay. Jesus. Because I could make a breaker even if the king doesn't end up adjacent to the tower. I realized.
Yeah, yeah. So it can actually just be like one off. Like it seems like you could move your king, say the central king, the C or the D5, or it's on E5. Like it seems like you could move from E5 to C3 and still get a breaker on the tower
Yeah.
at D4. Yeah, I think that's kind of cool. That seems to give you like more flexibility for placement of your king as well for like or maker
Mm-hmm.
while getting a breaker or something.
Shit. Problem is I don't know how to continue.
Mm.
Okay. So, because the thing is, like, I'm pretty sure you can get my tower next turn if I don't do something. So, but if I move this king,
I did think of one kind of. Oh no, wait, no, it doesn't work. Never mind. I was trying to think of a way that like you could do something with two towers, but I don't think it actually works.
two towers. What do you mean?
I was trying to think like maybe are there like situations where you. Yeah, I think there are actually. So, like, I'm trying to think of a way you could potentially defend two towers at once or something. So, like, imagine if your king was actually on D4,
Mm-hmm.
and then it disperses from one tower to the other.
Yeah. Then
So
you
it
create
goes
a
from
breaker. Yeah.
D4 to D3. Yeah, you create the breaker from the tower you left, and then you put the maker on the tower you hit. And like, I feel like that's kind of cool. Like, where it's like,
Wait, that
because
doesn't
you'd have
work.
to have,
No, that doesn't work. If it's on
doesn't it?
D4 and you go
Yeah,
where?
to D3.
To D3, but it's still wait, but you still can only put one thing down, I think, because it's still from the last space it passed through. Or
Yeah, I was kind of assuming that pass through also might mean leave. Like that might be a maybe that's something to clarify as well
yeah, but
as a
still
question.
that's the same space, so you could get one thing only.
Oh well, the thing I was thinking of was that yeah, so you get a breaker on D4, right?
Oh, but your maker goes to D3, then you can defend both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was the idea that you might be able to defend both because it's like having the maker on the D2 tower means I have to have a majority of makers to capture it, but then having the breaker on D4 means you'd have to actually remove the breaker before you can capture it. So it's it's kind of they're both interfering in different ways with the capturing.
Oh my god.
If that makes sense.
Oh yeah, it
It's
makes
not.
sense. Makes
It's not
sense.
super relevant, but it's kind of. I just thought it would be kind of cool that there are potentially dual purpose moves like that.
Oh, it's very relevant. Okay, so I'm going to.
It's kind of like a tower hopping or something, like where you get to do. You're going to hop between two towers and defend both in some way.
So I'm gonna flip your tower on I6,
Yeah, it makes sense.
and I guess I lose my maker, right?
I6. No, you lose the breaker
I
probably.
mean, the breaker is what I mean.
Yeah. So that one comes over. That one comes over. Flips. Yeah, seems to make sense.
So now you're 5. No.
I'm still the same number.
Yeah, you're still
I
4.
think. Oh no, I built the tower, so yeah, I should be 5 out of 12.
And I'm 6 out of 12 now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 6 out of 12, 5 out of 12. I can write that.
I got it.
Okay. Yeah, I think so. They're just like incrementing. So the numbers are always going up, I suppose. Whenever a tower is built. It's kind of cool. Okay, so then I do something like I concentrate on D2.
Right.
So I bring the maker over first. Then I bring the breaker. And then that should flip the tower and destroy the breaker. And then it should be 6 out of 12 to 6 out of 12.
Why? Did you actually... Oh, because you used a piece to do it. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's just like it doesn't change your count because you still use the same as theirs, but it ups my count.
Yeah, because you had
There's
to
like
use
one
one.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've added one more of my supply, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, so something like that. I suppose I could still lose another tower, but
I'm going to kill your next tower.
yeah.
But you have to
Why not?
confirm the move.
Oh, I didn't finish it, did I? Ah, yeah. Like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like this one came across, that one came up and flipped it.
Now, question is, can you do more stuff to my thing? I don't really see how you could. Oh my god. Bro, can I take back my tower? Oh my god.
Oh, the D2 one, or
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
this one?
But then you would get my tower.
How do you take the D2 one?
I can concentrate on D2 with 2 kings and a queen.
But I think is it going to be important that the king is behind the maker is behind the breaker?
You're right.
Because like you want the breaker to hit last. Like you want to have the majority makers there, and then
Yeah.
and then it looks like the other two makers are going to hit the same hex.
Well, no, I could do. But yeah, I mean, yeah, the other 2, yeah, for sure.
Like it looks like they're going to both end up in the same spot, so you'd have to. Yeah, it looks like this breaker needs to get out of the way first.
Ah. Okay. Well, that's not so cool.
Oh, it's a cool idea. Like it's just it seems like even that is like another one, like because obviously if they could just pass through each other, then that changes the like if you can pass through your own pieces, that obviously also changes the nature of the positioning. Like that's another similar kind of restriction to what you were saying. Like there's like placement restrictions, and then there's movement restrictions that can kind of change how important your positioning are.
Oh, I get a breaker, right? So tell me what you think about this. So I moved the king next to your tower, and I actually got a breaker as a result of that. But then I moved my queen over to your tower, flipping it and losing my queen.
Ah, yeah, that seems pretty cool. Yeah, so yeah. So that's kind of the thing that I was saying, except you did it to my tower instead.
Hell yeah.
So like you hop between neighboring towers and then you get the breaker, and that's actually really cool because you don't actually lose a breaker then. Like you've conserved the breaker by going for like a nearby tower.
Yeah.
That's like it feels like you don't lose a tempo or something there. It's actually quite nice.
Yeah.
Actually, that also defends the towers. That was the thing that I was thinking that you wouldn't.
Be able to do, yeah.
Yeah, because I thought you'd leave that tower, and then maybe I could get it back as you left it. But actually, that seems to defend it now.
But now, since you have majority, oh, you need majority breakers. Ah, okay.
Yeah, majority breakers to destroy your breaker. Majority
Makers,
makers to flip the tower.
but you need a breaker.
Yeah, and a breaker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a way to like. I think there's a way to like highlight some things in these rules to like just emphasize like obviously like they seem reasonably clear bar a couple of questions we have, but like definitely there's a way to like emphasize the text or something to make maybe some like key
I mean,
elements
I
that are kind of common,
I
like
mean, I
more like
rewrote it.
standoutish.
I rewrote it for like for to make it as short as possible. So I mean, I think that probably the original text is more clear.
Oh yeah, but even like I'm kind of thinking like yeah, even if the original text is more clear, I'm just thinking like for me to take in some of these things. Sometimes like every time I read it, I'll miss something
Mm-hmm.
or like misinterpret something like with some of the other games that we've tried where I like misinterpret lots about Storis Ende
Yeah, that was
or
a famous one. Yeah.
it's just things like that where it's like for some reason I just don't process the information correctly or something.
Yeah.
Maybe I need some things in bold or bigger capitalization or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um. Anyway, the no idea what to do now though. Where can I reach is the question.
So in Realm, there's this immobilization of breakers, which
Yeah,
it fills up the board more. I don't know if that's like cool or not.
yeah, and I suppose that means you can also run out of these enforcers or something, right? Because
Hmm. Yeah.
whereas here they're kind of being recycled.
Yeah.
But maybe just the hex geometry or something is already like somewhat limiting in like a different sense, like just with the kind of directionality or something.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like maybe the pathing is a little bit kind of clearer in rectangular grids, like you just kind of zigzag or something, you know,
Mm-hmm.
between turns. But yeah, kind of curious as well, like whether it's yeah, whether it's needed to actually have these more like roadblocks. Because I suppose like maybe you don't need them as much if you can't pass through your own pieces and if you can't pass through towers and things like this.
Right.
You already have like
Obstacles.
various impediments, obstacles already there. Like so
Mm.
maybe you don't necessarily need frozen enforcers and or frozen breakers or something to clutter up the board even more.
Right.
Also, I suppose one thing to think about is in Realm there's 8 spaces around the bases, and here there's only 6.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you have a bit more freedom to clutter up the board and not lock up the base entirely.
And
than you would
here we
here.
also don't have rearrangements, so that...
Yeah, we don't have rearrangements.
Or
Yeah.
I guess technically we do have rearrangements. They're not like official rearrangements, they're just like dispersals, but...
Yeah, and I feel like it's a bit more limited because you probably can't swap pieces. You could maybe like rotate them all around or something, one space or something maybe.
Yeah, so
If you have a gap, but
I kind of like that rearrangements are limited here.
So what could I do? I need to start like defending stuff maybe. Oh, I could do. Let's see if I gather on a tower or something. This one, this one. That kind of opens up this tower a little bit. It's kind of hard to picture where pieces end up.
Mm-hmm. Man, I thought that D2 was safe, but it was not. But I also
Yeah,
thought
it just
that
took one moves to get there or something. But
yeah, it took like one move to prepare a takeover.
Oh, I have an idea. I'm just gonna do this because it looks fun.
All right.
It's probably not good, but it doesn't matter. So I'm gonna disperse from G7.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna move the breaker across to hit your breaker, just like bump into it. Doesn't actually do anything. Then I'm gonna move the maker one space as well.
To make a breaker.
Just put the maker on your tower, and then I'm gonna build a breaker behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it looks fun.
It does look pretty cool.
Yeah, it doesn't really defend everything, but at least it seems to progress a little bit. I think.
Yep.
So something like that, like move something. Yeah. It does seem very hard to actually. Well, I suppose you're kind of limited in some sense. If you only have 3 makers, it's actually, even if you have like 4 towers or something, it's already tricky to defend them all with makers. But then the opponent has to commit 2v1 to really take out a tower that has a defensive maker. So it is kind of a big committal.
It's definitely a big committal.
Just to take 1 tower down that's defended.
Oh. Hang on. So if a breaker lands next to a hostile tower and there's at least 1 breaker, and the moving player has more breakers, but there's no breakers. So if there's breakers, you just need more breakers. Doesn't matter about the makers. Fuck. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like majority breakers destroys the breakers. Majority makers will destroy the tower when there's no breakers.
Yeah, but it's like if you have one 1v1 breaker and you move a bunch of makers there, it doesn't like do anything.
Yeah. So like I'm trying to think in the context of the board we have at the moment. It's like,
dude,
to take out your B6 tower, I'd have to actually get rid of the breaker first in like 1 wave, and then somehow swamp it with makers as well to counter your maker. And so it's like seems quite safe when you have 1 of each on the tower.
Yeah.
Even to have the breaker is quite tough because you'd have to actually like throw two breakers at it to get rid of it.
Even a breaker, right? Yeah, exactly. Even breaker's pretty good defense, yeah? Okay.
They seem to be.
Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is a pretty cool thing. I'm gonna move my makers, collecting them to your tower,
Yeah.
but in the process, create two breakers.
Oh yeah, I think I can see that. Yeah, so you're coming to the G7 tower. Yeah, yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That seems like a really efficient move or something.
Yeah.
And also it's really setting up to absolutely crush that tower,
I mean,
potentially.
it seems like it would take a couple moves though for that to happen.
Yeah, so like E1, this destroys. Yeah, because I'm thinking like you'd have to like say next turn you could probably destroy that breaker if you do like the order of breaker moves like right where you move the bottom right one diagonally up first.
Does it matter?
Um,
Oh yeah, you need to do it. Yeah, of course.
yeah, just so you don't block yourself,
Yeah.
block your own paths. So it's like yeah, you move one first, the second comes in and it destroys that one
Mm-hmm. But
and destroys my one.
then I lose one breaker, but then later I can go and like get it. Probably just
Yeah, then like so like it'd be really devastating if that king wasn't in that spot because or if the maker wasn't on F6 because then you could actually capture the tower in one move.
yeah, but it was the only way I could do all these breakers because I needed also the breaker to defend D5.
Oh, actually, maybe you can do it all in one move, and I might just let you because I think it seems fun.
What?
I just kind of want to see it happen.
But if you can prevent it, then please do that.
No, I kind of want it to happen because it looks really cool. Like, I'll just take a different tower or something and be happy.
You're gonna take it.
Um,
Wait, how can you take a different tower?
so I want to what are we calling them again? Concentrate on D9.
Oh shit! You're right.
So I move the maker over first. Um, he doesn't do any magic because he's not passing through anything. So I think he just lands somewhere. Then the breaker comes in and
Mm-hmm.
then destroys himself, but flips the tower. Like this. So yeah, so that's 7-7, I guess. 7 out of 12, 7 out of 12. I think. So I've put down another tower. Yeah, so actually, so what I was thinking is, I think you can capture this tower in one move, but the move order has to be right.
Okay, let's see about it.
So the concentrate,
Oh,
because the concentrate on the tower, I think you can also move your king out of the way.
right.
So it's like you do two breaker moves, it destroys one of the breakers. Then you move the king out of the way and pull the third breaker in or something. You do like a little shuffle and um that's what I'm kind of thinking, but it's up to you anyway.
Wait. Um. Oh. 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 Okay. Wow. So. Right. Okay. So I move my king. And I move my. I also move my other king, apparently. Because we're just moving pieces that end up next to this tower. It doesn't matter what it. And then.
Yeah, it's just they just have to like land. somewhere, right? Isn't it? It's like they just have to end their move adjacent to the tower or something.
Yeah, and by doing all this, I didn't since my breakers are or since my makers are not next to friendly towers, I don't get to build anything as a result of that. As a result of moving my kings basically to G6 and to G8. But now I get to move my queens
Yeah.
and I put a breaker and I have majority makers, but it doesn't matter. So then I move another queen. And now I kill your breaker and the moved maker.
Yeah.
But now I have one more maker I can move. And I'm think about where I would like to which one I would like to use. I guess I would like to use this one. And now I get to flip your tower, but then I also oh fuck, that also kills my own maker, which is probably fair.
Yeah, so I think you trade 2 breakers for a tower and a breaker or something, right? Something like that.
Jesus Christ.
Like that's a really cool turn in the sense of like order of moves and the kind of coordination of pieces is kind of cool.
Yeah. So now I'm at 8 out of 12.
Yeah, and you have a majority on the board as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I don't know if that like does that matter or because
Yeah, well,
in the end
that's your score or something, right? It's your towers and breakers.
true.
So you'd have something like 5 points plus 2 is 7,
Right.
and then I have 4 points.
Yeah.
So once one of us is actually out of towers, and I went first, so after your turn, on the turn one of us runs out of towers, that's when we score. So it could be the case that actually, I realize I can't get a tower back, so I have to just do like some kind of concentrating move that builds as many breakers as possible or something.
Yeah.
Just to gain points, which is kind of interesting actually. That was factored into the scoring, the breakers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess the makers never change, so there's no point in counting them.
Yeah.
It's just towers and breakers. So it's just an option of what you count.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so I just need I think I just need more breakers basically.
I guess breakers are pretty
Um,
important.
Hmm. I was trying to. There's no like trick to get 2 at once. I don't think. Because it would have to disperse or something to get one. So I couldn't. Yeah, I'll just do the simple kind of disperse.
Mm-hmm.
So I disperse from this one to here to get the one on that tower. Just kind of keep it simple.
Yeah. Um, can I do more shit here? Let's see. I think I can. So I'm gonna move. I'm gonna kind of try to prevent you from getting breakers ever again, basically.
Ever again.
So yeah. So I'm gonna go collect on D2, moving my king up there. Don't get shit. Oh wait. Oh yeah, it's fine. And then no, that doesn't do. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. I can't do that. Fuck.
Well, so what? You'd have to get rid of the towers or something to stop me to get more breakers, right? Or somehow like swamp the kind of spawn spots, or not even swamp them, but like block the lines of them or something. Because I have to pass through them to get a piece.
Uh, yeah. So I'll just do what I like set out to do because it was my decision and I went for it. But Oh, dude, wait, actually, by doing this, I think I get a breaker. Right? That's awesome. Dude, this is legit. Let me know if you think this is correct.
Okay. Okay, so let me see how this thing. Oh yeah, so the C7 one just went diagonally up.
Yeah.
The
G6
the
went to
G6.
D3 and then created a breaker.
I'm not sure it creates a breaker there because I think it's the tile it passed through last.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck, 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 fuck. No, you're right. Okay, can you just remove that breaker next?
Yeah, I'll remove it. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think. Yeah, if the terror was like one over or something, like
Yeah.
if the terror was on E5, it would have worked.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I was thinking about
Um.
Workers and Soldiers, which is another game, which
All
is
right.
based on Realm where that does happen.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it seems like there's lots of things you could do to tweak the rules that would be. Yeah, could create like interesting situations. I think I kind of I'm starting to understand why you picked it as a intriguing game to make variants for.
Yeah.
Like it does seem like there's lots of fun ways to play about with the rules
Yeah, I
and
mean,
end up
like
with something cool.
I mean, this is the variant which is most similar to Realm, but like most of the variants, like the one that Michael came up with is really, uh, really interesting too, and I mean, it's completely, it feels nothing. It's like nothing like Realm, but it does have that same kind of, idea behind it. It's just interesting how, and like Gatsby, like Lewis made like a series of games which are gradually less and less like Realm and get more and more simplistic, and it's just
Right.
kind of a cool exercise in design.
Yeah, so I don't see any other terror placements apart from along that A line that we were talking about as well.
Yeah,
Doesn't seem like there's a trick to get any new pieces otherwise.
probably 12 is kind of a lot.
On the board or just having 12 like because I feel like we're nearly there because like between the captures
Mm-hmm.
like a few more kind of turns of capturing we could probably actually hit 12 soon.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you're right.
Let me just try and do something quickly and just try. I need to get more pieces, but I don't think there's any simple way to do it. Like to do what you did in a different turn and get loads of pieces at once.
Oh, well, I didn't even get loads of pieces. Oh, you mean the different turn, right? Right.
Yeah, there's a different turn. You got like two or something
If you
in
collect
like a
on
single move.
if you collect on I6, oh, you get one breaker.
Hmm. Yeah, I thought about collecting there, but it just doesn't. I just feel like I leave more terrors undefended then.
Mm.
Uh,
I just
so
wish
maybe I'll
that I
just.
didn't do what I did. Like the whole thing seems annoying because I don't get the breaker that I thought I got.
Mm, well, that's interesting.
Yeah, it felt cool in the moment.
So I'll just like move one over or something and prepare for like some other turn.
Yeah, makes sense. Uh, okay. Okay, so can I collect on some of your? Hmm. Oh, I can disperse from your thing and get a bunch of breakers, right? No.
I'm just thinking of where they land. You could definitely get one.
Yeah, I can get one. It would be cool if I didn't already have a breaker next to this one, and then I could get two.
Yeah, at the G7 tower or something.
Yeah.
Like as you pass through that, you could get another one.
Yeah. But as it stands, I guess I don't get very many breakers. Okay.
Could be a good defensive move, all the same.
Well, all right. So, so I'll take my king out, and I'll go get a breaker. From that action. And also, I have a feeling like, yeah, this is gonna be necessary. But I feel like my breaker is pretty good where it is. So, gonna do that.
Yeah, looks pretty good. Yeah, it seems like it's defending things quite nicely.
Yeah, and I'm also setting up for basically um, an attack on your breaker, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, that seems to make sense.
Which is really what I wanted to do originally, but didn't.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
forgot the rules.
Where can I go though?
What the hell? Hmm.
So I was thinking, what if I do a dispersal from this bottom left tower, the D9 one, and I like disperse it. I disperse the breaker just like across the board somehow. But then I like disperse the king like one space or something, still adjacent to get another breaker. So like something like this. So like the breaker moves out of the way, and then the maker moves into the breaker space to get a new breaker.
Cool. Sounds good.
I feel like that could be an interesting idea of like a repetitive pattern, maybe. Like if you move a single maker back and forward and keep dispersing breakers or something.
Right. Right.
Like I wonder, could that be like a fun pattern or something?
Right. Makes sense.
Like I mean, it's not like I mean, I'm not sure it's actually effective or anything, but it's maybe if you had a lot of your own terrors in line with a particular terror, it could be a cool way to launch like launch defensive breakers at those terrors while producing new ones. Like
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to having to move the maker between terrors all the time.
Yeah. All right. So I need majority makers.
To take a terror, is it?
But I need majority breakers to do the queen thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Um. All right. So I'll. Yeah, I don't know what's more useful. Okay. So I'll then, if but then, all right, fine. I'll collect on your tower, H10.
Oh. Um, oh, this is gonna be rough, actually. Yeah. Because you can get two makers there to outnumber, and then a single breaker to flip the tower.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know like how good this is going to be in the end, but yeah, we're gonna do this for now.
Yeah, it seems good.
So we put a breaker there. Oh my god. And do I get it? I actually do I get it? No, I don't get it. I don't get a breaker. Okay. Would be
Yeah,
awesome.
I feel like it could be like because of the turn order. Like if you moved like a third one in or something right at the end, you could probably get a breaker back or something.
Oh. Fuck, I forgot that I lose a breaker this way.
Mm. Or
Okay.
yeah, maybe there's like some situation where leaving H9 or something could also potentially make one. But yeah, the turn order didn't look like it worked.
I think this is a good move because I all I really want to do.
I mean, you've completely boxed in
Maker.
the I11 piece as well. Yeah.
But that's, I mean, that's to the expense of like all the safety of my towers. So I feel like I gave you free reign with your other shit.
Yeah, some of them are really hard to get to though.
I mean, I can see at least one move where you just can easily capture one of my towers.
Yeah, I think I can capture the G7 one.
Yeah.
Um, I can't quite get the B6, I don't think, because my pieces are just in the way.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I go for that one then. So I go here to here, say. And then this one moves in. Here, destroys itself. Flips. And then it should be 9 to 8, I guess. 9 to 8 out of 12. Yeah, I feel like with this size board, I mean, you could have set it to 8 or something, and then it would have been a nice short game. Every kind of capture would have been kind of a capture race maybe.
Yeah.
And then kind of 12 maybe there's a little bit more tactics or something. I feel like as an option you could, if you had like a few board sizes with optional settings or something, you could probably change the lengths of the games, make them more like strategic with like more captures because you have to plan a bit more long term, or like short term kind of capture racing, like where you're just trading towers and because you could kind of get to the capture goal quicker or something.
But you don't need makers to capture the queen, right? You just need a majority breaker. Like that's literally it, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's all it says.
All right. Well, then I'll just do that.
More breakers next to the
And then I kill my own breaker. But then I come over here with the king as well. And I flip your tower and kill my breaker.
That one's rough.
So now I'm at
So what
10.
happens? So what happens? The breaker comes in, destroys my breaker,
And sacks itself, yeah.
sacks itself.
Then my king came in and flipped you, but then I had to kill my other breaker. Wait,
Does it work? It
Oh.
doesn't really work like that. Does it?
Oh, well, I can. It doesn't matter because I can just wait. Hang on. Wait, hang on. Sorry. It does work. It does work because I can still move the breaker.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah. You move the breaker afterwards and then destroys itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you mean now. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because you could even move it into the spot where my one got destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, okay, that works. That's cool. Yeah, that's nice because I was wondering how you do it if you already had the breaker there. I was kind of thinking, oh, maybe you need to move the breaker away and then back again.
Right.
But yeah, that seems quite cool if you can just like
Position
move
it.
it around the space to get it to work, reposition it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that seems kind of flexible. Okay, 10 to 8. So then what? I guess just keep terror jumping and things. So I jumped here. Like I have to kind of get the score back a bit.
You can actually
I've,
get one of my towers.
yeah, so I'm gonna go for this D5 one. And I think it also creates a thing on the terror it leaves. It creates a breaker again.
No way. Oh yeah, it's true. No, wait, what? No. Oh wait, what? How?
Um, Let me try it and then we can just undo it or something if it doesn't make sense. Like if it leaves the terror and then there's no breaker there. Like the king moves, creates the breaker behind it, and the breaker comes in and flips the terror.
Oh, hang on. I didn't see this
So
move. Oh,
does that make
this
sense?
move. Oh, okay, hang on. So you have moved the king first and then the queen. Yeah, okay. Gotcha. Cool. No, I thought you were doing something a little bit different. So now,
Oh, that was the one that came to mind anyway.
yeah. So now you're at 10 out of 12 or 11 out of 12? Oh, you're at 9 out of 12.
Oh yeah, I need to update that. Yeah, 9. 10.
Fuck. Okay. Huh. Huh. Hmm.
Yeah, I feel like you could probably get a couple of breakers in one move or something.
That's what I'm trying to figure out if it's possible.
Yeah, it should.
Oh,
I
I
think it
should.
should be possible.
Yeah, I should be able to. Yeah, I just dispersed from my own. Yeah, I just dispersed. That's all. So I will disperse. First, I'll disperse from here and create a breaker here. And then I'll disperse from here from the same thing. And just do that because looks like to me the most efficient defensive move. So
Yeah, so
one of the
that's
things
the
that
one template.
criticisms I have of the formulation of rules as it is that
Okay.
it kind of feels like there's some cyclic nature of the game. Like once you kind of get started, you're
Yeah.
just kind of flipping back and forth, and the only thing that changes is that the score gradually increases until it's over, which I don't really like that kind of model for a game. I feel like the
Yeah.
game should have the narrative going throughout. Like there should be a beginning, middle, and end kind of.
Yeah. Like yeah, kind of a clear. Yeah, it's kind of nice when there's phases like opening, middle game, end game, or something. Whereas this is kind of like opening, middle game until it just randomly ends because the terrors run out or something.
Right. That's to me one of the biggest criticisms, but I do like the way, like in general, like the tactics and stuff.
Mm. Yeah, that's like in terms of games like that, I feel like some of the ones like Blooms and Circle of Life, these kinds of things where they just have like a random score limit thrown in, so that you don't have to deal with cycles.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of have that effect sometimes, where it's like you're playing until the game runs out, basically because of the
Yeah.
score just hitting a max. Like I know in some of them there's alternates, like in like specific, well, Blooms, you just like go until someone resigns or you hit the score, but
Yeah.
Circle of Life can have that alternate ending where like you just fill up the board, you run out of moves or something and win that way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think like from a kind of natural standpoint or something, I guess that's why Bug compared to Circle of Life is kind of cool because that just kind of comes to a halt naturally by itself.
Yeah. I
So you
agree.
kind of have yeah, I think that like just from like a cleanliness or something or like a kind of some kind of, I don't know what you'd say, just like a simplicity or something.
Well, to me, it's about narrative
Narrative, yeah.
because it feels like
Clarity
the
of narrative or
game.
something.
It feels like the game is telling a story, whereas this, like the games where they just kind of, yeah. I mean, also a score limit is always like inherently arbitrary. It's just like, okay,
Mm.
why does it end at this point? It's just, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel as well when it ends, like how you taught it up is also a bit kind of subject to like debate
Mm-hmm.
in a sense. Like there's going to be some amount of arbitrary, like I suppose counting the towers seems like the most natural because like that seems to be the whole focus of the game from like a, let's say, a narrative perspective. But then counting towers and breakers, it's like, should you do that? Should you just count the towers? I guess towers plus breakers sounds like maybe it breaks ties easier because like it could be quite simple to just have the same number of towers on the board.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe it's less likely to have the same number of towers plus breakers.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see there like as a tie, like the breakers are tiebreakers in a sense.
Yeah, I think that for that,
I
the,
wonder if that's the idea.
yeah, that's why they're called breakers. No, I think, I mean, it makes more sense to have it like where the towers determine the win or loss, unless unless it's a tie, and then you count up breakers basically.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's how you can read it or something. Um, I don't think I have any kind of capturing move, do I? Because this breaker just can't see a tower. Well, I can see a tower, but it's not it's defended. I can see two towers, but they're both defended.
Wait, oh, right, because you don't have a majority breakers, so you can't get rid of that breakers. Then you can't really take down the tower.
Yeah, and I'd really like to get to the I6 one, but I can't get there with the breaker. So
Mm-hmm.
is there anywhere else to go?
But I also can't really get there.
Yeah, the kind of things get in the way. Um, oh, I might do this though, or will I? Yeah, maybe I'll just. So if I just concentrate on this D5 tower and just like shift the king over, get a new breaker. Simple move, but kind of a setup, I suppose, for a next move.
Okay.
Kind of tries to set up an attack.
All right. Fine, dude. You know what? I'm about to do something awesome. I'm gonna concentrate on the same tower that you just concentrated on. I'm gonna get like 2 more breakers.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's gonna be
That's
awesome.
nuts.
This is pretty legit, I think. Even if you get one of my
Yeah,
towers, I don't really care. I just think they look cool.
yeah, yeah. And actually, I think if I leave this tower, you can probably just do like a shuffle to capture or something.
Yeah,
You don't even necessarily have to pull everything in.
yeah.
Is that worth it? I wonder. I do have an idea, but
Jesus.
yeah, just so I'll just again keep it kind of simple. So if I disperse from the D5 tower, I'm going to send the breaker over to your tower, which I don't have the majority makers, so it doesn't do anything. I don't think. Oh, Bookcat was in the chat at one point. I didn't. I don't know if you were checking the chat at all.
Somebody's in the chat?
Yeah, there's people in the chat. No, I wasn't even looking at the chat. I was just going to focus on the game, but I think Tellurian was in the chat asking what the game was, and
Okay.
then Bugcat, that I know from Go, said they recognize my voice.
Bugcat. Oh yeah, Bugcat.
So I don't know. They're probably gone at this point. They're probably gone to or I mean, not necessarily, but they're potentially gone to a Go stream or something.
They're probably
That surprised me.
gone. Yeah, they're probably gone. I hear
Probably should keep an
Shinuito.
eye. Yeah. So I bring the breaker across the your one. It doesn't trigger anything because I'd have to have a majority of makers. But I'm doing that intentionally, so I'm going to disperse this maker away, but then put a breaker back. So I'm kind of like, it's like not fully defending the tower, but it's like, I don't know, maybe it makes you commit to one additional breaker move or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I see what you're doing. Okay.
Like better than nothing, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could take the tower, but it's like,
So you don't want to take the tower?
nah, not fully, not immediately.
I
just at least I'd be down a breaker or something that way. And
what I find it difficult. Oh wait, no, I can do it. I can do it. I can
yeah,
take
I think you can.
Yeah.
There's like some kind of shuffling involved or something, but it's doable.
Yeah, but I also
This one.
I also think I can take both. No, I can't. Okay. I'm gonna do something else. So I'm gonna go like the king here.
Oh, I know what you. I think I know what you're. No, maybe I don't actually.
Queen here.
Were you thinking of like a disperse or something from?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like take the terror on the right hand side and then see if you could do something else with the other king.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if you had more pieces or something around the terror.
No, actually, it's not a disperse. It's a collect on your tower on G3, and I'm just gonna capture it.
Yeah, just capture it. Yeah.
Try to like win. I don't know. I don't know if you'd say winning anymore, but so I'm at 11 out of 12 now.
Yeah, and that destroys the breaker probably, right?
Oh, sorry. Can you kill it?
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah. Okay, so then what do I do? I have to probably try and capture something back, maybe. This one. But I don't have very good lines.
Huh. So you have 6 points, and I have like 9 points. I feel like it should be okay.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah.
But you can remove one of my points and get one of your own points at least next turn.
Yeah, Yeah, I was thinking about how I could try and get a point now or something, but
But then if I get another point after my turn, then it would be game over. But it doesn't seem easy to do that.
yeah, the kind of layout of the pieces, and then this piece being stuck down at I11 is very, very painful. Actually, just it's kind of like out of the game.
True.
It's not very, like, I mean, it's doing something on that tower, but it's also not doing really anything because it's defended.
It's gonna be really hard to
But
pick a game, like one game that's the best realm variant out of this contest. I just
yeah,
like they're all pretty good, but there's all like problems with all of them.
yeah. I mean, I imagine it'll be hard to get like a perfect game just off the bat. Like it's like some really simple rules or something, but like amazing gameplay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just do something just to speed up. So, because we're close to the end, mostly. I just wish I could like capture this terror on the right, and I don't think I can, because it's like I have to move the breaker out of the way to get the maker in, which is annoying.
Oh. But you can move multiple breakers, but then that's just annoying as well.
Yeah, but the problem is the. Oh, I suppose I can actually. Yeah, I didn't see that. I was thinking of moving in the way. So, yeah, screw it. I'll just do it because I might as well try and get the points. So I moved this one down out of the way. So to collect on, or concentrate on I6.
Yeah.
Then the king moves across, and then yeah, I have to move the second breaker as well, and then sacrifice it to flip.
Which will basically leave your tower bare for the next turn.
Yeah, it's a bit rough. It's a bit rough. It's probably, yeah, so that's what, 11 to 10. 11 out of 12 to 10 out of 12.
Yeah. Because then I can
Yeah,
put...
actually, this ends the game, right? Because I
Yeah,
went first.
that's
So
what
if
I
you
was
just
saying.
capture the terror, it's game over. Yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, well, go for it anyway. It was an interesting game.
Yeah, it was interesting.
I think it's fun. So, like, probably just look at, like, yeah, like, obviously, if it's going to be played more, just, I don't know what way they have the rules format, and that'd be cool, just to make it very easy to reference and kind of read just the key sentences or something, or like the key points of the sentence, some sort of emphasis, and then just clarifying on whether it was intended to. So that should be a win for you, I imagine, right? That's like 2,
I have 9 points,
4,
I think. Yeah. But
something like that. I don't have a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or something.
yeah, but
Oh yeah, but just a couple of questions about whether or not you're supposed to be able to move the opponent's pieces as well with concentration, dispersion, or whatever the other questions we had were.
let's see. Realm.
Yeah, just how it should start, because that was a tough question, and how.
Okay, Converger. Converger. These questions relate to make, break, or take. How should the game start if there are no towers to disperse, collect from? What else?
That was one question. Then it was
Does
the question about
does a
the
player-
2 spaces. You're wondering about what, like, can you be in a situation where you could be adjacent to multiple towers? So that's just a clarification on what towers being 2 spaces away means. But I like, as we're playing it, I hope that's probably what's intended.
Yeah.
It seems like it makes sense. But
Yeah.
it couldn't hurt to maybe formulate that in another way. Just because what 2 spaces means on a hex board is kind of funky.
I'll ask for visual examples.
Yeah. It's one of those things you can clarify with pictures even easier.
What else? So is that how should the game start? Also, does the player have ability to collect, disperse non-friendly pieces as well as friendly pieces? Also, towers are supposed to be 2 spaces away from the other towers. Can you provide examples? What else?
We were also playing it that you just pick any terror, right? So it was like it wasn't specifically said, but it was we kind of took that as implied that you could just pick any like your own and opponent's terrors to collect or concentrate and disperse from.
Yeah,
That seems to make sense, but I suppose you could ask that with the other question about moving the opponent's pieces.
right. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious because of it
Yeah, I
says
think it'd be it would be quite tricky otherwise to have to only use your own terrors.
unless you could put the towers like within 1 spaces,
Mm.
because then you could use your own tower to collect it into, but then it ends up putting next to a enemy. But
Yeah, I mean, I found like maybe then if you like capture the terror, it might actually like immobilize the opponent's one or more of the opponent's like you could imagine like if you couldn't concentrate and disperse from your opponent's terrors, that you might actually immobilize pieces by capturing terrors
yeah,
if they didn't have something in line with them to actually their own terror to collect or disperse from. So like I could see that actually possibly being a mechanic that could be interesting.
yeah, and
But yeah,
then
I mean, I like the way I played like this. So it's up to you whether that's a real question.
I like this two spaces. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
so wait, if I go to the online, if I go to IGG and I show the boards, and I go to the sand, ugh, okay, I go to the sandbox. Right. So this one, yeah, this is the one where I can actually reply to. This was a make break or take. Yeah. Okay. Cool, man. Thanks for like hanging out on and trying out this game.
Yeah, it kind of well, I suppose I wasn't really expecting to get through like several of them because new game and
Yeah.
clarifying rules and testing it out different board sizes and stuff.
Plus,
But
the sandbox is pretty slow.
yeah, like kind of editing and passing turns and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you want to do another one of these, definitely, it's actually pretty fun. I kind of feel like I'm getting into it a little bit.
Yeah.
The
Let's.
like the kind of feel of it, like much more than just reading the rules,
Mm-hmm.
like actually trying to get involved in them and test them and stuff. It's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. It might be worth reducing the number of towers for size 6.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Like maybe you could even have as optional or something where it's like, do you want like a longer game that maybe there's a bit more like defensive build up, or do you want like a shorter game that has quick captures to try and end the game fast or something?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to know.
But I think if you have like as many towers as there are sides on the hexagonal grid, that might scale pretty
Oh,
nicely.
so if it's size 6, you have 6 towers.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we could get something like 5 each on the board.
Right.
So could we on this particular? Because when we look at like we said,
Oh.
there was like one more we could fit here.
Oh,
So
so maybe
we
it's
could have
too
went
low. Yeah, maybe it's too low a number.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I think we could fit about 10 towers on this in theory. Like, well, it was a bit hard to get to that point in the corner. So
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like there's maybe some sort of weird, not weird, but kind of some sort of packing problem that you could figure out. Like, what's the I'm sure you can figure out like a maximum number, but it's probably unlikely with two people uh not cooperatively placing towers, like
Yeah.
that you would perfectly hit the maximum each time.
Right.
Um,
I just think, yeah, that's yeah. I guess that's too low of a number, but
I feel like 8 or something could have worked for this.
yeah,
Just from like, because there was a point where we hit 8, and like that could have been like a reasonable ending, and it would have been kind of short.
right. And I guess you want
But it,
size 6 to be kind of short as well.
yeah, just like a quick like, and you could drag it out. This is like, if you played more defensively, you probably could make the game longer. But if you start doing kind of trades and stuff early, it'll probably speed up the game. So
For some reason, I did enjoy the feeling of doing all these chain moves, but also it does kind of reduce readability by a lot.
mm.
Yeah, it's a trade off. All right, I think I'm gonna go.
Okay, yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Thanks for having me on and trying it out.
Let's play another one of these, either this game or another one of the variants that have been proposed by people at some point in the
Yeah,
future.
cool. Just find a day and let's do it.
Cool, man. All right, talk soon.
Yeah, great. Thanks.